We are back! Hello and welcome to Legends. Let's rethink this right here on Mark Out Moments, our YouTube channel and our Twitter X. Go to markoutmoments.net, hit that like and subscribe button. Get your notifications turned on so every time there's a show here on Mark Out Moments, you are notified. Timmy C, today we are talking about none other than what if Sting was the third man to join the NWO instead of Hulk Hogan.
Do you think if he came out, Tony Schiavone would say, "It's Sting"?
Well, Sting was already out.
Oh.
So he was already in the original match.
It's Sting again.
But so as everybody knows, Bash at the Beach 1996, Hall and Nash have left the World Wrestling Federation. They are now dubbed the Outsiders. They are not a part of WCW, but they're here to take over. There is a mysterious third man. WCW has put up 3 of their wrestlers: Sting, Macho Man Randy Savage, and Lex Luger.
2/3 who were actually WCW wrestlers.
See, that to me, I always thought it should have been Ric Flair, not Randy Savage.
Agree.
So, but we will get to that. So, Sting, Macho Man Randy Savage, and Lex Luger versus the Outsiders. The Outsiders come out, just the 2 of them. There's no third man.
Oh, wow.
Mean Gene enters the ring.
Wow. Yeah.
Mean Gene enters the ring and says, "What happened? We thought you had a third guy." They said, "Our third guy's here, but right now we don't need him."
They were right.
So they took on the 3 men. And early in the match, Sting went to do a scorpion splash. Or the scorpion splash, the stinger splash.
Yeah.
And ended up stretchering out Luger on accident. So Luger's hurt. He gets stretchered out. So then it's
the only person to ever be stretchered out from a stinger splash.
But he was faced the other way. So normally your back is to the turnbuckle. Darren Staley took on 3 men one time.
He didn't see him, though. That was the problem.
So Luger was turned the other way. So it was like
obviously broke his sternum.
So Luger gets stretchered out. Hall and Nash are now facing Sting and Macho. And then, so it goes. Earlier in the show, Ric Flair defeated Conan for the WCW United States Championship. But so today we're going to talk about if Sting had been the third guy, which was apparently plan B. So they originally wanted Hogan.
A, but we'll get into that in a little bit.
They originally wanted Hogan. They weren't sure Hogan would do it. Sting said he would, so they were going to go with Sting. And then Hogan was like, in. And I went and asked Grok. So let's do a little AI here quick. I asked Grok, what would have been different? It said, instead of Hogan's iconic leg drop on Randy Savage, imagine Sting, WCW's ultimate babyface, the loyal hero who's been there since the company's early days, running in to save Savage and Luger, only to betray them with the scorpion death drop or baseball bat shot. The crowd reaction would have been...
He didn't have his baseball bat then.
Not then, but the crowd reaction would have been nuclear. Pure shock and betrayal, but without the same weight as this real meta layer that Hogan's WWF history brought. Hogan's turn worked so well because it was the ultimate WWF export invading and conquering WCW.
By the way, what's up, Matthew Elvis Presley? Love you.
The NWO still forms, but it's Hollywood Sting or maybe a darker version leading the charge alongside Hall and Nash. No red and yellow Hogan as the figurehead. Now it says how the NWO changes, momentum and longevity. Many fans and analysts argue the NWO wouldn't have reached the same stratospheric heights. Hogan's star power, creative control, and willingness to politic for the group to always go over made the faction dominant for years. Sting, while hugely popular and credible, lacked Hogan's ego-driven backstage leverage. Without Hogan guaranteeing wins and spotlight, the NWO might burn hotter but shorter, perhaps peaking in 96, 97, but fizzling faster as members like Six, Ted DiBiase, and others get get less emphasis on ex-WWF guys. So here's the deal. Let's rethink this. Hogan's not in play. The match would then have to be, you would think it would be Sting, Flair, and Lex Luger versus Hall and Nash, and the third man to come out later. You could still do the same thing with Luger getting stretchered out. But you would have to think by then, towards the end of the match, Ric Flair. I'm with you, Darren. I was never huge on Sting either. But Ric Flair would have to be the one, probably taking control, maybe getting Hall into the figure four. The outsiders are in deep trouble. And then Sting turns. So you would still get the same nuclear heat from the crowd, because if fans don't remember, the crowd littered that ring with trash. There was even a fan who jumped over the rail and tried to get into the ring and got brutalized.
Yeah, his name was Mean Gene.
Yeah. So it goes, okay. And that was always my thinking. I think the shocking turn would have almost been as big as, the Hogan heel turn. But I don't think it ever would have lasted near as long. And I think one of the issues with the NWO was that it lasted too long, and then you had the two factions, and then it just got stupid. And then you had NWO 2000 and all that crap. But once it split and Sting actually did join the NWO as part of NWO Wolfpack, it had run its course by 98. So you're not going to get 2+ years. And then, you got more than that, because 99 is when the finger poke of doom. But you have to think about it. Sting would have to have that first feud by turning on Flair. Now, could you imagine a WCW in which Sting is the heel and Flair is the babyface?
Let me lay something out for you here. What if you have the chance to have a 3-way feud at this point? Because you have all your WCW originals. You have your Ric Flair. You have your Lex Luger. You have your Sting. But you also have this injunction of older WWE superstars. Macho Man, Hulk.
Hacksaw.
Shark, Hacksaw, all these guys.
Brutus, yeah.
This is where I was like, Hogan doesn't fit, because you bring over Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. They're not part of, yes, they're WWE, but they are not part of Hogan's WWE.
They weren't the golden era. They were the new generation.
Exactly. So this is where you either lay out the money as WCW to bring over Bret Hart or bring over Shawn Michaels. They should have been the third man. And then you create a 3-way pull for power.
Well, Shawn Michaels was never going, because he was the champion of WWF.
As a friend of mine once said, everybody has a price.
But
the $1 billion
Bret was out at that time. So
if you rolled his ass down there in a wheelchair as a mastermind, it wouldn't have mattered. We all know wrestling has nothing to do with your physical ability in the ring.
No, I'm talking about Bret was out Bret was out as in terms of he lost at WrestleMania 12 to Shawn Michaels and then was gone till Survivor Series. He signed a new contract before Survivor Series.
Yeah,
so he had every opportunity to go to WCW
and whatever.
So he could have gone to WCW.
Money was not an object to the people in WCW. They could have bought Shawn Michaels out. Hell, if it were Hunter, just to create something new, but it would have been more fun than Hogan, honestly.
I don't know.
Don't get me wrong. Hogan did a great job with what he had. But
to me, that's the greatest heel turn of all time. I'm with Darren. Anybody but Hogan in WCW dies an early death.
They do. They probably do. But for the greatest storyline, a 3-pronged. Yeah, Mabel was not the third man. Mabel was never in WCW.
But that apparently Mabel being the third man was
Fuck Meltzer.
Yeah. But so you go with it, okay, things change, it's Sting. And we've had this conversation before.
If Sting does it, then it just becomes like a young versus old type thing. Because then you're like, Hogan's decrepit ass, Flair's decrepit ass, the Macho Man's decrepit ass.
Well, see, Hogan had been off TV for a while. So I don't think Hogan had been around since like March. He wrestled at Uncensored.
4 whole months.
Well, he wrestled at Uncensored. They did that weird cage match. It was Hogan and Macho Man versus every heel in
everybody. WCW. Yeah, it wasn't it the three.
Won.
What was it? The Triad of Terror or whatever,
something like that. But it was. I mean, the match was terrible, and then Hogan was off filming, so he was gone. Excuse me. And then, so Hogan comes back, but see that's where everything gets fishy with this. Hogan has creative control, so what does he do? You can't have Hogan come back and then immediately dismantle the NWO. Just doesn't work because the NWO would have been dead. But they're not going to keep Hogan off TV forever because they're not going to sit Hogan till December of '97 to have Hogan versus Sting at Starrcade. And you're not going to have Hogan dressed up as the Crow.
I like that. I like Hogan as the Crow. Here, hold on. I'm working on it. Chat GPT,
so
maybe.
I've said in the past, I think it was weird that Hogan attacked Savage and then Savage was gone for a while. And Hogan's first feud was with the Giant. So he goes after the Giant, wins the WCW title. When I think it should have been Hogan versus Savage after that. So if Sting, at this point, if Sting is going to go over and turn heel, you'd have to think Flair would have to be the champion at some point during Bash at the Beach instead of the
We're Giant. Incorrect, because here's what Groke thinks that Hulk Hogan would have looked like as Sting's Crow character.
It looks like Batman with a penis on his face.
I can see Bischoff showing him this picture. That's not gonna work for me, brother. Got a dick on my face.
But so Flair would have to beat the Giant prior to this match to get the title, to then lose it to Sting at the following pay-per-view. So the NWO can have the world title. But I think for starters, if the NWO stays a 3-man group, it would work with Sting. But they had so many old WWF guys coming in.
That was the problem. Is they tried to make it WWF versus NWO.
Well, you had DiBiase, and then the next thing you know, the Giant turns, and then X-Pac comes over.
Honestly, the Giant might have been a better throw as the third man, because at least he's new blood. Yeah, and try beating those 3 in a bar fight.
Yeah, that would have been tough. But I mean, Flair never would have worked. The only 2 that I think it really would have worked as is Hogan or Sting. Maybe Lex, because he had just come from WWF. But he wasn't a star in WWF.
Yeah, he wasn't. He wasn't WWF through and through. He would I think it would have been better someone from the new generation of.
If Brett had been the third man, that would have been better than. But
Brett or Shawn,
Hogan and Sting was it. But so I don't think it lasts near as long. But think about the feuds though. You get Sting and Flair.
Well, think about it though. If you get Shawn to buy over, I know he's but let's say you just write that check and by the way, Shawn, $10 million, come on over. Which, by the way, they could have done. then what happens with like Hunter? Because he may not stick around. All his buddies are gone. You know, Kid's obviously going to come over, but he
But
may
Hunter
stay
has
longer.
always said Ric Flair was his favorite wrestler. But WWF was always his dream because he grew
Yeah.
up in New Hampshire. So he grew up in WWF's territory. So, but I mean, it's just, we're going to go with it's Sting. Sting's the third man.
I don't like your ideas.
The first feud has to be Flair.
What would it have to be? Because he owes him, because he fucked him over like 3 times.
And then the next one,
Luger.
It's got to be Luger. So you have Sting and Flair with a feud. Because Sting and Luger never had a feud at all during Luger's second run in WCW.
I guess
they were building.
Question. Does Sting's feud with Hogan work if Sting is the bad guy and Hogan's the good guy? Because that sounds like a wet fart.
I mean, it's going to sell pay-per-views, but it's not going to be good.
I mean, the match will be fine. Sting could carry him. And even at that point, Hogan could do okay. But Sting is the good guy, or Sting is the bad guy, and Hogan is the good. Everyone was tired of Hogan being a good guy.
I mean, that's the reason why Hogan turned and worked, because Hogan being his last run in WWF, I think the fans were over it.
See, I think you'd have had money in Sting being the immediate guy and then working into Hogan turning.
Maybe Hogan being the ultimate, the fourth man or something.
Yeah.
He was the real ringleader or something.
Well, no, not even the real ringleader, but Hogan. You had all this success over here, but you've come here and we just keep kicking the shit out of you. Why do you want to do that? And then eventually Hogan flipping.
Because I mean, that's how they did it with Giant and Savage.
Yeah.
So I don't think you ever get the heel Savage. And I think Randy Savage as a heel is vastly underrated. So because
Randy Savage is a heel in WWE is vastly underrated.
That Macho King was phenomenal.
Him as a heel in WCW was just.
Well, by then he was also hella old.
Yeah, but he was still able to pull mad pussy. So
Gorgeous George.
Yeah.
But so your first feud's Flair, your second feud's Luger. And then I mean, you're going to get a Giant. You're going to get a feud with the Giant. You're going to get a feud with Savage.
But assuming you don't flip these people, like I feel like
that's the thing. But see, the problem is the NWO flipped too many people.
Yeah, but see that dynamic, because it wasn't Hogan. Those guys, the other guys like Hall and Nash had been in WCW before. Maybe you flip them back. Maybe it's not all one way. That's the problem. Was everything became NWO.
See, this is a good one. If Sting has the third man, does it change the impact of Eric being behind?
Sting. I don't know who Sting is.
Does Eric being behind it all is good or bad? I always thought Eric being behind it all was dumb anyway. So it never made sense, and it came out of left field, and it almost seemed like Eric thought. It seemed like Eric thought it was so cool. It did work though, because he was able to manipulate things, like when the Outsiders lost the titles to the Steiners, and then he was able to get the titles back and things like that. But WCW, NWA, it was always a heel run territory until Hogan came. So. And it just didn't work. I mean, like Sting would win the belt from Flair. Luger would win the belt, but then they would immediately lose it back. Dusty would win the belt for a week or two and then lose it back. I mean, there's a reason Flair was a 16-time champion, because they gave the belt off, for short one-offs.
It was actually way more than 16 if you look at the.
But I'm watching right now.
It was like 28 or something.
I'm watching right now, and Ricky Steamboat's the champion. But he's held the belt for all of 2 months, maybe, to just drop it right back to Flair. So it just, I have the same arguments with WWF and the whole. What they went 11 years or something like that, crazy, with about 6 months of heel champions. So it's just the feuds are there, but the longevity's not. So that's the only thing. So like if we could go back in time and change it, it would be a fun watch for a little while. But I just don't see how he stays. They definitely don't beat WWF in the ratings. Are they going to roll out there and?
I like this question. Could Sting be a believable heel? I don't believe he could. I agree. Sting's too nice of a guy.
I mean, he had a short heel run in '99 when he turned on Hogan. So they did Sting versus Hogan, and Sting turned heel and beat him. And then, but this is like Russo booking. So immediately within a couple of weeks, Sting was a face again. So it just all fell apart. I think Sting had a short heel run in TNA. But see, I never really watched TNA. So it's just not. Yeah, Sting just didn't have that heel persona.
Well, Darren Staley wants to change history. What if Magnum TA hadn't, chopped his legs off in a car crash?
Well, I mean, the whole
He's
dynamic.
Too Southern.
Well, he beats Flair in '86, but then where do they go from there? He might beat Flair in '86, but Flair's going to win the belt right back.
Magnum TA was not built for national coverage. He was a great regional guy. That's the one thing overlooked. Magnum TA played really well in the Southeast. New York didn't get it.
So, but I mean, what does Starrcade look? Because obviously, there's no feud with Piper. Piper's not coming into feud with Sting like he did with Hogan.
But
there's nothing there.
If we split it into 3 groups, he would come in and battle with the old Hogan or the old WCW. Because he's both.
Yeah, but I mean, he's more recognized as a WWF Golden Era guy. But I mean, that could work if you did that. You had an NWO, a WCW, and I mean, I don't know what you'd call them. You can't say WWF. So
Golden Era.
Gold, like with a Hogan faction, but I mean Hogan and Shark,
the old world order, the new world order, WCW,
the OWO,
the OWO.
But I think you would get. Yeah, Hogan was good. 96 with the heel turn, parts of 97. But by 98, Hogan had started to disappear a lot off television. So he was there for a lot of Monday Nitros.
97.
Well, he was at a lot of Nitros. But then he'd disappear for a month or so. But then in 98, even as champion, I mean, he held the belt for, was it 98? When was it? Maybe it was 97. Like once he won the belt. A lot of those pay-per-views, they didn't have Hogan. But see, WCW, they didn't care about the pay-per-view crowd. They cared about beating Raw head-to-head on Monday nights. Everything, like a Monday Nitro was just as good as any of the pay-per-views. I mean, I'd rather watch Monday Nitro than the Great American Bash. Because, I mean, I think about that. I think it was the Great American Bash 97. Your 2 big matches that closed the show were Kevin Nash versus Rick Steiner and Macho Man Randy Savage versus DDP.
Main events at any house show.
But that brings another one. Sting could have a feud with DDP. They bring up DDP. So the feuds are there, but the longevity's just not. It makes, Ted DiBiase coming in makes 0 sense. He would have to go to Hogan's group.
Darren Staley trying to decide who they heel on. We're just trying to make sense of this. No one's a heel.
So let's go back to our Grok boy. No Hollywood persona shift. Sting might have adopted a more sinister look early, face paint tweaks, black and white gear, but he probably doesn't go full Crow vigilante. The iconic 97-98 Crow Sting era was born directly from paranoia over the NWO's takeover. If Sting is the NWO, no rooftop brooding, no baseball bat justice, no epic Starrcade 97 build against Hogan. WCW
Well, there's
loses
baseball. There's baseball warfare. Like he just starts hitting motherfuckers with a bat.
See, I think it would have worked with Sting going because NWO was black and white. Sting turned into the Crow, black and white. So that look would have worked.
It wouldn't have been Crow, but it would have definitely been darker.
Right. Sting was already growing his hair out dark at the time, and it was getting longer. So
I mean, that was like the perfect segue, honestly.
Yeah. So, and it makes you wonder if that's what they were gearing up for. So it worked. Yeah, the fake Sting thing worked for a minute for that one pay-per-view. And then once the real Sting came out, the fake Sting was dumb. But apparently it was huge in Japan.
You could have done the fake Hogan thing with Horace Hogan.
They could have used the old guy that was always in the stands that dressed like Hogan. Or they could have used that old Randy Hogan guy or whatever.
The fake Hogan,
I mean, obviously the storylines are going to change drastically. Although Tim's three groups, yeah, because you did at one point you did have three groups. You had WCW, you had NWO Wolfpack, and you had NWO Hollywood.
And that got real stupid, but it should have been better. Like if you had started it at the beginning and then worked it into two groups, you'd have had a better plan.
So it could have. It just would have been who would have been worth it. So you would have had Hogan, Savage, and Piper. You'd have had the
Hogan, Savage, Honky Tonk Man, Earthquake. Like you had tons of guys in WCW.
Well, Honky Tonk Man was by then. Honky Tonk Man was far out of favor with Eric Bischoff. So that was so. I mean, you could have had Earthquake. So Shark, I guess Shark. And you know what's funny is I didn't realize Ming was Haku at first.
What?
Yeah. But Haku he had been gone for so long and he was so off my radar by the time he showed up. Because you got to think, Haku was gone by 90 in WWF.
91, but yeah.
Show up till late 94. And WC, he'd been off TV for 4 years.
Bro, he was in WCW in 92.
94. He joined the stud stable. He was with Colonel Robert Parker. He was his bodyguard. It was 94.
Okay.
So, I mean, I guess you could have had Jimmy Hart running things for Hogan. I guess you could throw the Nasty Boys in there.
But at that point, weren't the Steiners back in WCW?
Yeah.
So your WCW faction, you got Ric Flair, you got Lex Luger, you got the Steiners,
Arn Anderson,
stacked in all three sections. And then the third section, even if you use Sting, you got Sting, you got Hall Nash, you could bring over X-Pac. 6.
Yeah.
And just build it out of more that got looked over.
There's just got to be more.
Van Hammer goes into the fucking new NWO.
Raven.
Yeah, I mean, you have three different silos into stack people, and some of them are interchangeable, so you can swap.
Maybe DDP ends up in the NWO.
Yeah.
But then you don't get the great DDP that you got.
How do you know?
I mean, DDP was as middle of the card as it gets.
You don't think you could make DDP a great heel and then have him turn?
I mean, you could have. Because he was, as a heel,
It was the move that got over. It wasn't DDP is a vanilla cone wrestler. He's just,
I mean, he had some good matches with Johnny B. Bad, but that's the only time he ever really got matches.
Johnny B. Bad would have been stoked because he could have come back as part of the NWO.
Darren Staley, DDP was overrated.
He's right. The Diamond Cutter was over. DDP was not over.
So you got the Giant. You still, I mean, I guess the Giant.
Yeah, that like he would have been the crux of all this because they're all trying to bring him in. Come on, come to our group.
I'll tell you, and I thought it was going to be bigger, but it didn't work out. And then he had the neck injury. But I thought Buff joining the NWO was going to do something for his career.
Well, he had been Rookie of the Year for the last 8 years. So.
Yeah. So I mean, you could still have Buff NWO, Giant NWO, DDP, and then you can have that golden era. You know, Piper, Hogan, Savage, Shark,
Haku,
and Haku if you want. Ted DiBiase
could have brought Bundy back.
Oh God! What
but then you've got all that. You know, you had Flair and the Steiners and Arn and
Lex.
Could have brought Dusty back for it. Dustin Rhodes as a character that people were trying to sway between the three would have been amazing. After he had his Gold Dust run, bring him back. Oh, who do you identify as? Because you've been in all three of these.
Yeah, well, I guess he technically was in the golden era for a hot minute.
Him and Dusty tag teaming at 92 Survivor Series.
No, it was 1990 Survivor Series.
No,
he wasn't in that. It was 91 Royal Rumble, which was by then Dusty was already gone. Dusty had gone back to WCW in December as the lead booker,
and left
he was
him
finishing out his feud. No, he went when Dusty left. Dustin went with. But I mean, there was talent there, but you got to make sure there's enough talent in the NWO to stay. If you're going to do 3 factions,
I'm telling you, just write a big check at the beginning.
I mean, a big check.
Buy Brett, buy Sean, buy one of those guys. And then, by the way, you also kick the legs out from under WWF.
I think had Brett gone, that would have hurt. But I don't know. And Brett went in 97. He went a year later.
Imagine buying The Undertaker.
Now, see, that would have been crazy. But I just I like the shock and awe, and I think you get through 96, and I think everything's hot. But then once 97 rolls around, I think it kind of fizzles out.
That's the problem, was they made it real hot, but you can't continue that storyline, especially when you roll the entire roster over.
Well, and then on top of that, at some point, Hogan's coming back and he's going to want the belt. So then what? Yeah, I mean, the NWO worked, like Grok said, Hogan's politicking, making them strong and keeping the title for so long. I mean, he lost that belt for all of 5 days or so to Lex Luger and then won it right back. And then, which, I mean, it was all a feel good moment for Nitro to, oh my God, we got to watch Nitro. You never know. But it wouldn't have the same effect.
But
I think it would have been really cool to see.
Imagine my 3 factions politicking to draw Goldberg in.
Yeah, because then eventually you get Goldberg.
Because then it's like, oh, you're so athletic. You should be with old school WCW. Oh, you're built like a brick shit house. You should be with old school WWE. Fuck those guys. You should be with us.
And I mean, see, and one of the things I like, Chris Jericho. I mean, obviously his career when he went to WWF took off. But
he built a character in WCW.
In WCW, yeah. So as a baby face when he first came in, very bland. But when he turned heel and had Ralphus and, the
But it's not even
1001
about being
moves.
a heel. It's just about him finding his voice.
Yeah, and he did. But see, it's also, I thought that Eddie Guerrero, when he first came to WCW, I thought was, dude, I'd rather watch paint dry. But look at what Eddie Guerrero turned into. And as soon as he turned heel in WCW, you knew, like, okay, this guy's got something.
Best gold. Dust, Berg, Big. I'm going to go with
Dust.
Berg.
Dust. That's what we need to have, a Gold Dust episode.
No, we don't.
Mm-hmm. TJ will do it with me because Gold Dust should have been WWF champion.
Well, he's busy working, so fuck off.
Yeah, he is tonight. TJ, you're not here. You're working.
Whore.
So 3 factions. Well, I mean, it works because they did the 3-man. So they did the 3-faction group.
I am the best wrestling mind ever.
In 98, they did it. So at War Games, it was Team WCW, Team NWO, and Team Ultimate Warrior.
Well, that's all right. First off, you're screwing yourself when you name something Team Ultimate Warrior.
All right, it was actually, it was
stupid.
It was One Warrior Nation. It was OWN.
I wouldn't have latched my car keys to him.
But yeah, I mean, I guess you could have had Warrior on the Golden Era team.
He would have been. Well, actually, probably not, because he's an asshole. Wouldn't have hired him. He could have gone back to WWE, squashed Triple H's ass again, call it a day.
his 2-minute match.
Stupid. I hate that guy. I don't care. Rest in peace.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's a dirtbag. But so I mean, you could have.
But
I mean,
like,
I guess
if here's the thing, is it was the shock of Hogan turning that completely like changed momentum.
Yeah.
I mean, not that there was a whole lot of momentum either way in wrestling, but Hogan turning did that. So
let's see, Monday Nitro ratings.
Oh, they were terrible. They were both terrible.
All right, here we go. So the first Nitro ever was September 4th, 1995, and there was no Raw. It was preempted. So
they
Nitro got 2.5.
2.5.
The next week was Raw got 2.5, Nitro got 2.4. The next week, Raw got 2.7, Nitro got 1.9. Then you got Nitro 2.7, Raw 1.9. Then they tied for 2 weeks in a row, 2.5, 2.5, 2.6, 2.6.
Go to July of 96.
So now we're going to 95 or 96, excuse me. In April of 96, Raw won all 5, or from April 1st all the way through May 13th. Raw won every week. May 13th, Raw was 3.5, Nitro was 2.3. When did Scott Hall make WCW debut on Nitro?
By the way, Darren Staley, I need your
May 27th.
I need your TikTok name so I can friend you and send you the hat for Ronnie Millsap. It's great.
Okay, so you got May 27th is when Scott Hall made his WCW debut. On May 20th, Nitro beat Raw 3.1 to 2.3. A week earlier, Raw beat Nitro 3.5 to 2.3. So from May 20th, you got May 27th, Nitro won 2.8, 2.3. And on June 3rd, Nitro won 3.0 to 2.3. June 10th, Raw won 2.7 to 2.6. And then Raw didn't win again until April 13th, 1998.
83 weeks.
So, and you're talking, we're talking Monday Nitro on March 16th, 1998 drew a 5.1 rating. And WWF didn't have a show. But then it was 4.6, 4.2, 4.6. And then on April 13th, Raw won 4.6 to 4.2. And then Nitro won one more week, and then they never won again.
By the way, the answer is Silva.
I take that back. They did win a couple more late. But you're talking like Raw. I mean, by the end of 98, Raw's got a 5.2 to a 4.2, 5.2, 4.2, 5.7 to 5, 5.6 to 5. So they're still drawing massive crowds. So, and that's the difference. People want to say now, like, oh, well, AEW's now, Dynamite's now been on longer than Nitro. Dude, they've never drawn a crowd like Nitro did.
Hey, Dave, look at the bottom. Answer is Silva.
No, dollar bill.
No, it's not.
It's definitely not pond water. Get out of here.
It's definitely not pond water. It is definitely Silva. Maybe Matthews. I'm not sure.
Best guitar playing Dave? Matthews.
Correct. Best shit talking Dave? Dollar Bill.
Dollar Bill.
Oldest Dave?
Super.
Pond water.
Yeah.
Best Dave? Silva. He'll also tip you out the best at like a cat scales.
Yeah. So, I mean, once the NWO started up until early 98, WCW dominated. So I just don't think that happens with Sting. They do. I think they do for a while. But, I mean, to me,
you got to do something drastic with Hogan to get it.
You go back through. In 1997, WWF came on strong. You have the whole America versus Canada feud. I mean, that was the only thing keeping them afloat. Austin, Michaels, Taker, Kane.
I don't know. There's this guy named Stone Cold Steve Austin. He did okay.
I said Austin first, dummy. Wow. You not hear me say Austin, Michaels, Taker, Kane? Because, I mean, The Rock was not, he was still Rocky Maivia. But it's I don't know. It would have been cool. I think for the hit of, oh my God, the ultimate WCW babyface turns heel. But then what? Other than that shock factor, and then I think you get through 96, early part of 97, but then I think it runs dry.
But, I mean, honestly, look at what they did. Hogan turned. They got through 96. Early, mid, 3/4 97, but then what happened?
All right, let's look.
It started crashing.
No, it did not.
It did.
97. At the end of 97, they're doing 4.6, 4.34, 4.3, 4.1, 4.3. By 98, they're up to 5s. But the problem is WWF's also up to 5s.
Wrestling got high.
It started crashing in 99. They started dropping back down into the 3s. So they were up in the 4s. Their last win was October 26, 1998. Nitro did a 5.1. Raw did a 4.5. and they never won again. So they went to a little over 2 years when Raw.
Yeah, but if you look at the quality of the programming, it was shit.
Well, 97 was fine, but by mid 98, it was dwindling.
Yeah.
Then they got hot with Goldberg.
That was all they had.
Well, they had
like
Goldberg
literally they could have just programmed Goldberg in the main event. Oh, look, we won the last 15 minutes.
Yeah. So I don't know. It doesn't work. It'll be cool for a minute, but outside of, I mean, you're going to have a Flair feud. You're going to have Luger. You're going to have Savage. You're going to have those feuds. But I think the fans wanted to hate Hulk Hogan in WCW, even as a face. So it just got it. It was just so
kind of funny though, because as soon as he went back to WWE, like
the fans loved him.
They tried to hate him. And then they got to that first WrestleMania and they were like, nah.
and he's facing The Rock.
He was literally facing the hottest baby face in the company. And they're like,
the crowd shit all over him.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah. We want Hogan over The Rock.
Yeah. Which speaks to Hogan. What a talent.
And I mean, you can say like, oh, well, he didn't have 5-star matches. He didn't need to.
And you know what? If you watch some of his Japanese stuff,
oh, that was good.
He did. He just didn't need to provide it in the United States.
But what he did in the United States, it worked. But he could have those matches with the big guys. I mean, obviously, Andre was very limited when Hogan fought him. Bundy just was never good anyway.
Well, the Monster Factory they gave him they were all limited because they're all really big guys. Like when he fought Mr. Wonderful, good matches.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at WrestleMania 5, Hogan and Savage. You give WrestleMania 6, Hogan and Warrior was good.
And Hogan carried him every bit of that.
Yeah, Hogan carried that match. Because Warrior ain't carrying nobody. I could out wrestle Warrior, and I've never wrestled a day in my life in a wrestling ring.
Jelly Roll could out wrestle Warrior.
He did. His match at SummerSlam last year was way better. Anything Warrior ever did. But yeah, I mean, it would have been cool, but just not it.
But they did it right, honestly.
It hit.
Yeah,
it hit.
Flipping Hogan was what worked for them.
Yeah. And I mean, it was the only thing that would really carry the company, and it did. I mean, the problem, obviously, WCW, even at the very end, for as bad as it was still drawing more than what AEW does now. But
well, that ain't hard because all you do is assholes.
Time Warner AOL Time Warner wanted nothing to do with pro wrestling. So,
but now they do because they're trying to kill each other legitimately.
Yeah. And that's the one downfall with AEW is somebody's going to get seriously hurt or even killed with some of the shit they're doing. They need to reel it in a little bit. And I'm not saying WWE is perfect because that shit ain't drawing me in right now.
Wrestling is a business where you're bound to get hurt, but
you're always going to get hurt. But I mean, some of the crazy, I don't need to see blood in every match.
I don't need to flip on my back to steal stairs.
Or
what are we doing?
Nails. When they're pulling nails out of people's back. I don't have time for that. That's gross. So we'll see. Apparently, AEW's safe for right now. The Netflix deal with Time Warner or with Warner Brothers is dead. Paramount won it. So if Netflix had bought Warner Brothers, AEW would be no more.
Well, they would be the lower level below NXT is what they would be.
Well, I mean, they're not going to get any time slots on anything.
Yeah, no, they're not getting prime time spots.
They're not getting nothing with TKO on there. So they got saved.
But what is the thing that WWE has with all the the independent wrestling people. Because they had that deal going for the longest.
Or like with TNA.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't really know the terms of it.
Like AEW would legit be below TNA.
Yeah. So
John Moxley would be wrestling as a challenger for the TNA Intercontinental Championship.
But even with Paramount winning the bid for Warner Brothers, unless AEW does something drastic with their ratings, they might not be safe. Now, granted, Tony Khan has enough money he can buy his own TV channel and put them on.
He could, but
I mean, the daddy's only going to pay for so much.
At it.
So, and I don't want to see any company go under. I mean, these guys make a great living in AEW. They're making good money. Tony Khan's overpaying a lot of people.
They're making too much money. Correct.
Yeah. And I don't want to see anybody lose jobs. And I mean, I would, if AEW, and what I thought we were getting when AEW came out was, okay, we finally have that WCW alternative that we had in the 90s.
That could go against, no.
But it's just not.
They are counter-programming them in all the wrong ways.
Well, not only that, my problem is AEW to me seems a lot like indie wrestling. And that's fun to go to from time to time or whatever.
Counter-programming them in all the wrong ways.
A lot of it doesn't make sense. So I have tried and tried and tried, and I cannot. And for one, I'm not paying for an AEW pay-per-view. I don't care how good people say they are. I'm not paying $50 for that shit. So if they were on HBO Max and I could watch it with my HBO Max subscription like I can with ESPN or Netflix or whatever, I'd watch it. But because I can't watch the pay-per-view.
They are now in with Paramount. Like, you don't have to buy UFC pay-per-views.
Right.
Why the hell would I pay $50 for AEW?
So maybe they move to Paramount Network or something or stay on HBO, but they make them free like they did UFC. But I'm not, in no way, shape, or form am I paying $50 for it. I'll go to one, go live, and hang with the boys
in a suite.
But I'm not paying for it on TV. But I mean, UFC, I loved UFC. But when UFC went to ESPN Plus and it went up to $70 a month, I'm not watching that shit.
Now it's on Paramount. It's included.
I watch it. Now that it's on Paramount, I'm back to watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sid was not good. I mean, Sid had the look of megastar.
Sid was good, by the way. Till he
was. His interviews were so bad.
No, they were so good. They were so bad. They were so good.
I mean, I guess you could have had Sid and what he could have joined NWO.
Sid would have been, yeah, because yeah.
I mean, that'd be a lot of big men. Sid, Giant, Hall, Nash.
Guess what? Insurmountable. Perfect for Hogan.
Yeah, he had a leg
Flair
up
would
them
have
all.
struggled a little bit.
Well, there you have it. A little dive on how things would be different if Sting had joined the NWO. Thanks for joining us here on Mark Out Moments. I'm Dollar Bill Dave, along with my boy Timmy C. We will be back Saturday. Multiple shows here on Mark Out Moments on that Saturday. We're going to do the Elimination Chamber match or the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Son of a bitch. I hate you so much. So we're going to do our Elimination Chamber pre-show on Saturday morning, and then Drunken Pop will be Saturday afternoon
at 2.
At 2. See you guys this weekend. Peace.